Welcome back, everybody. All right, let's take a quick look at how we can use math in our functions here, okay? So you can go ahead and start up a new document here, and you can just put in some numbers. They don't need to be any kind of special numbers, but they can just be simple numbers like this. And I'll just add one more right here, okay? And in this box here, what we'll do is we can do pretty much anything we want in terms of math, okay? So if you push equals and then you type in a letter, and I'm just going to push S, you can see that there are all of these different kind of functions that you can do here. So if I type in A, you can see that there's all these different functions here, etc. So you can see there's all of this here. And again, if I were to go over every single one of these, that would be an hours and hours of course, and you don't really need to know all of them, but there's a few ones that you do need to know. For example, max is a good one, and minimum, etc. So what can we do here? So if we type in the word the letter equal, you can go and you can see that when you click on any other cell, it will say the cell that it is referencing. So in this case, it's A2 and B2, etc. And of course, that's A12 and B12. But you can also drag, and you can see that once that comes up here, you can see that it goes A2 and then colon C3, right? Now, if I type in here, for example, if I type in C4, you see that it expands to C4. So you can actually do this visually, for example. And of course, this value is a little bit messed up, but you can do this visually, or you can type it in if you want. But let's just try something. Let's try something fun here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and actually make these simple numbers, just so that we can actually figure out the math behind all of this. All right, and then we'll make that 9 like that. Okay, so we'll go back here, and we'll go equals, and then we're going to go A2 like that, and you can see it gets highlighted, and we're going to go times B2, just like that. And you can see that the first thing that happens is that A2 is in one color, and then B2 is another color. Now we can also do times C2. All right, and generally when you're working with computers, you want to make sure that your capitals and your lowercase letters are more specific. And usually when you work with computers, it's good to be case sensitive. So if I go ahead and I do this here, you can see 2 times 3 times 1 does in fact equal 6. So if we double click on that, you'll also see that the numbers there are color coded, which actually works out pretty well. I think about this. Now watch this. If I click on B2, right, and then I go to B3, it cancels out all of that. And if you can just go Command Z if you want. But let's just type that in again. So we're going to go to A2, and then we're going to go times B2, okay, and we're also going to go times C2. Or in this case C3, but we can go C2, and we can actually do some more cool stuff here. We can go divided by, so we can go divided by A3, and you can see that that is a different color there. And let's go divided by B3, all right, and then we can go divided by, of course, C3. And you can see that this is all color coded, and it works out quite well, and you can go ahead and push enter, and that is what all of that equals to. All right, and the other thing you can do is you can actually mix and match any of these functions here. So for example, if I go to equals here and I type in sum, okay, and remember that the sum just simply adds everything. So I'll just click and highlight that. And if you remember back to math class, brackets are important. So if I put generally when you have something in computers, and I'm just going to type in something here. So I'm just going to type in sum and then that. Now again, computers are derived, for example, all the programming languages are derived from math. And if you generally, when you're working with computers, whether it's Excel or programming languages, if there's a brackets that are like this, then you should probably put something in it. Not always, but generally, if you see anything like this, anywhere in computers, you'll definitely be able to at least put something in there 90% of the time. So let's hop back here, and we'll click on this, and you can see that we got sum A2 divided by sum of that first row here. And then I can actually times that by A2, right? I can multiply that by A2, or I can multiply it by A3, and there we go. That's what we get here. So what this did here is, if I double click on this just to make it look a little bit bigger, the sum is A2 to C2 and then times A3. All right. So I'm going to do another tutorial like this in the next tutorial. I just want to break it up just so that you can kind of play around with this a little bit, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.